What's up, guys? It's your boy Brandon and or the Crazy Slayer, and today we're gonna be going through the subreddit known as NoSleep. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a subreddit where people just tell their stories of like horror. And today you're gonna get a video that is about no sleep, because it is, what time is it? It is 10:50 p.m. and it's exactly what you guys are gonna get right now. Something to keep you up for the rest of your night. Now, um, we're gonna have to cue some things real quick. Gonna cue some scary music in three, two, one. And number two, I'm a whisper. I'm gonna have some random stopping points. Just gonna stop. Just gonna sit still. And then I'm gonna read again. And then number three, hope you enjoy, hope you like, hope you subscribe, and once again, go check out my first channel. If you like this content, I just post R6 and CSGO and some other things that randomly pop up every here and there. But anyway, let's get to the video. Okay guys, I killed my girlfriend for a game. When Samantha came through the door, she didn't have a weapon. She was dressed differently than normal. Instead of her usual, more girly fashion, she was wearing a leather jacket and torn jeans. She walked into the cabinet and stared at me. While Nate, Charlie, and I had guns pointed in her direction, I started thinking of how she would kill me. Did she have some kind of knife or something that she was going to surprise me with? Did she seem at all fazed by the fact I was pointing a gun at her? Probably, since she underestimated me so much. What the fuck, Sam? I asked. She smiled. Is this like a thing you guys do? She calls you a girl's name and she calls you a dude's name? Charlie asked. I ignored him. Sorry, Julian. It's $500,000. Do you know the things I do for that? The things I've done? She asked. She didn't look angry or even vengeful. In fact, her face showed practically no emotion at all. It was like, I didn't even know this, Samantha, and I suppose that was true. I wondered how long she had been involved in this, how long she went without telling me about it. I think we can all pretty much guess what we've done, or what you've done, Nate said. You're not exactly the only player in this room, Sammy, Charlie said. I needed to get my team back in the lead. And no offense, but you're kind of too easy to push around. It was an obvious choice, she said, ignoring them. I didn't respond. Ouch, dude, Charlie said. Put the gun down, Julian. You're not going to use it. She walked closer to me, holding out her hand. Come on, babe, just give me the keys. We both know what you aren't going to. And that's when I shot her. I didn't know it was oh. I don't know what it was that made me do it. Maybe it was the fact that she seemed to be enjoying herself. Maybe it was because she lied and betrayed me. Maybe it was the adrenaline and thought of dying. Or maybe it was eagerness to win the money. Whatever it was, I pulled the trigger and shot my girlfriend. She stared at me, her mouth open. Mid-sentence, I didn't know where I had shot her at first until I saw blood stain forming around her shirt. Holy shit, Julie. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Charlie cheered. Alright, let's go, Nate replied. I followed both of them outside where I saw the rest of Samantha's teammates leaving. It was hard to believe that they just left here like that. That I had left her like that. But still, I followed them out of the cabin and around the block, or back. We all got into a truck, me in the front seat and Charlie in the back while Nate drove. I wasn't really focused on anything at the moment besides the fact that I had just killed my girlfriend. I'm not sure how long we were driving. It was just a blur of trees the entire time, and I was pretty distracted. "Are you listening to me, Julian?" Nate asked, snapping his fingers in my face. "Huh?" I asked. My ears were ringing. "Get over yourself. You're going to have to do a lot worse than that if you want this cash," he said. I didn't reply. "I had to cut my best friend's arm off," Charlie said from the back seat, turned around. "What?" I asked. "Yeah, it was a few months ago. Kind of a waste too. He forfeited 2 challenges later. Then he had to dig up his mom when he had to dig up his mom's corpse. Then he died from an infection which was caused by an amateur amputation. He stretched and I could hear his bones cracking." I stared at him as he told me the story. He was incredibly nonchalant about all of this, and it made me wonder what other things he had done and what those things had done to him. "How long have you been playing?" I asked. "A year and a half. Nate here started a few months before me," he replied. I nodded, but I didn't really know what to say. How long would I have to play this? I went into the whole thing thinking that I was just going to earn some quick cash, and now I knew that wasn't the case. I was starting to realize that this wasn't just a game. It was something else, something that I was a part of, a willing participant in whatever was going on behind the scenes. The next few months went by in a blur of robbing graves, banks, houses, and even a hospital. My death toll skyrocketed during this time, as did my reputation. Every new city I encountered players who already knew who I was. When I was in Chicago, I was told that I was one of the top players. Apparently, everyone was expecting Samantha to kill me right away, and when that didn't happen, they were incredibly surprised. I didn't know if I should feel bad for being so greatly underestimated or good for exceeding everyone's expectations. I stopped feeling bad about all the things I had to do. It was like I was no longer thinking about the person I was killing or the people that I was stealing from. Now I was only thinking about the money and the things I was going to get if I won. The switch had been flipped and I was determined to win. 8 months in, and there was one challenge that almost made me quit. It involved teaming up with some players in my team, and we were in Washington, and we had to kidnap a guy who had chosen not to team up with us and cut off his limbs. I was working with Charlie again at this time, and I haven't seen him since I killed Samantha. I remember him looking different. He looked tired this time, and his hair was blue now, and he was still Charlie. He told me that Nate had died a few weeks prior, in Europe somewhere. He seemed more determined now, eager to complete the challenges, no matter what they were. I was more than glad to let him take over most of the dirty work. All I did was snatch the guy. I remember thinking that Charlie had gone crazy finally, and that almost made me quit. I didn't want to end up like that, so eager to kill, eager to cut off someone's limbs for money. But then I remembered the money and got my head back in the game. Charlie and I parted ways in Washington and didn't hear from him for a while after that. I went on completing challenges for a while. Most of them were pretty mundane. I delivered some drugs for a while where I almost got caught. I was traveling with a girl named Cindy for about a month, since all of our missions were to take place in the same states. She was a newer player at the time. She had only been in there for 3 weeks. I saw some of our teammates kill someone. She told me the first week that we were traveling together. "Yeah, get used to that," I responded. Cindy was a pretty quiet person. She went on, did her job, and came out fine. I was really starting to like her, but unfortunately she jumped in front of moving traffic that day after we split up. I only knew about it because it was on the news. I think that's what changed everything. No other players had their deaths announced on the news like that. In fact, I wasn't even sure that anybody found the bodies. I hadn't heard anything about Samantha dying. I hadn't even heard from her family. That was one thing that I always wondered about. If so many people played and died, how come their deaths were never on the news? After Cindy, I figured out that was probably a good reason for that. I was in a motel room by myself watching the news coverage. when the text came in. The game. We've gotten rid of the lower ranked players, only the top 10 remain. If you receive this message, you are one of the top 10. No more teams from here on out. In order to win, you must eliminate your opponents from whatever means necessary. Good luck. Wow. I'm pretty sure this is a movie. I'm pretty sure this is the movie that came out not too long ago. It was Dare, Truth or Dare, or just Dare, or whatever it was. But holy shit, there's multiple parts of this. Hold up, part 1. Let me go down here. Let me click here. Okay, never mind. Well, let's go back to NoSleep. Let me find the next story I gotta do. Okay, so I found the next one, and I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor now. So I had just moved into a new town, and the hospital there is a little strange, So basically, I recently moved to this city on the east coast of the US called Cedarville. I'm typing this because I honest to God have no idea what's going on, and let me just tell you this story. After years of living in quite a boring suburban area, I thought moving to a city would be a nice change of scenery. After all, I enjoyed being on the move and having a lot to do, and I've always found a lot of cities being able to satisfy the constant need for stimulation. When I was house hunting, I found a perfect apartment, perfectly in my price range and everything. I didn't know where I expected it to be, but Cedarville was nothing anywhere, or never anywhere close to being on my list of guesses. Oh, why can I not speak? First of all, I'd never even heard of the place, so I decided to drive there and look around before placing a bid on the apartment. I was not expecting a huge metropolitan, yeah, same thing. It was at least the size of Philadelphia, if not larger. That was a little bit confusing, considering I have never heard of it before today. I have never seen it mentioned on the map, and when you search on Google Earth to find satellite pictures, nothing comes up, which is puzzling considering the size of the area. So after visiting, I decided it was a pretty nice place, and I placed my bid. A week later, I got a phone call saying I got the apartment. Woo! I was eager to move in, but the one thing that still bothered me was work. I was 3 years out of medical school, having completed my internship for general surgery and diagnosis. Oh my god. ASMR. Okay. Diagnosis at the hospital in my old city. I was now free to practice on my own. After some research, I found that the Cedarville General Hospital was looking for staff, and I decided to apply. Here's when things started to get what the actual fuck weird. Okay, the hospital, to start, is the only healthcare building in the entire city. No specialist office, no private practices, no clinics, just the hospital. Secondly, it is in the dead center of the city, like on the geographic center of the map. It's not the largest building, but it's definitely not the smallest. It's a beautiful building, modern architecture and such, so it's not too old, but makes me wonder how the fuck it is in the dead center of the city. The hospital layout is divided into wings named after the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west. Not that weird, right? Well, it turns out that none of the wings correspond to the actual directions that they are placed in. The north wing is on the south side of the building, the west is on the east, and vice versa. Probably the result of poor old SAP's shitty planning, but who the fuck knows anymore. My interview was quite, different. The hospital's director just hired me. I didn't have to give him my resume, I didn't have to answer questions about myself, and quite possibly the weirdest part was I hadn't given my transcript to him about my job history or my education, and he somehow had it. and I didn't give it to him. He just had a copy of my degree and my medical license, despite me never giving him one. Freaky shit, but I was just relieved that I got the job. The kinds of questions he asked me gave me the creeps too. I mentioned beforehand that he didn't ask me anything about myself, like they were stuff like, have you ever been in a government position? If your spouse or your best friend were drowning, what would you save? Basically not normal job interview questions, to say the least. This guy seemed normal, but I swear to God, during our meetings, his eyes disappeared for a split second. During my first few weeks, I was also introduced to some strange employee rituals. Okay, so firstly, at exactly 12 o'clock noon every day, a tone would play over the intercom, and about half of the doctors and nurses would mindlessly walk to the fifth floor and scream. Just endlessly scream for 5 minutes straight. This was called scream time, and it was voluntarily. There was also some weird rules about scream time. You must be on the fifth floor to participate. If you're not already, drop what you're doing and go. No one cares if you're in the middle of open heart surgery. If participating, you must scream for exactly 5 minutes. Any less, you're fired. Any more, you're fired. That's it. I never participated in scream time, but some of my co-workers did. They never remember participating when asked about it. If you're gonna have coffee, you must finish it. Not too weird, probably just to cut down on waste. But the thing that makes me question is, if you really want to cut down on waste, then they have the same rule for the cafeteria. They didn't. It was just coffee. Just no other food, just coffee. Another rule was that you had to carry a pen, and you only got one, not two, not zero. It was a company supplied pen. You must have at least one pen on your person at all times, unless performing surgery. Kind of annoying and weird, but not really a problem for me. Other than those few what the fuck things, the rest of the employee code of conduct was normal, as it would be at any other medical facility. The floors and rooms occasionally change locations. The other day, I was called to the north wing, or on the 4th floor. The elevator took me to the 6th floor in the west wing. The room was there labeled as being the north wing on the 4th floor. The cafeteria changes its location from day to day. The area is never in the same wing as it was the day before. No one can ever find the 3rd floor's east wing, despite showing up on the maps and custodian insisting that it was just cleaned. The bathrooms only show up when you need them, and then they disappear after. I still don't have an explanation for this. Some of the floors of Cedarville General also have some weird quirks. Floor 7 has 3 elevators instead of 2 like the rest. No one knows where the 3rd one leads, and no one will ever try using it. On the 8th floor, no one uses. You can wander around in the dark while faint carnival music plays throughout the entire south wing. Perpetually. I didn't realize that it stopped there. No one knows where it comes from and why it's there. There is no electricity on floor 8, and there are no light bulbs on floor 8. Only windows. Floor 6 changes color every day. Only one day the walls are blue, the next they're yellow. Floor 4 is missing. It looks like it's there from the outside, but there's no way to access it, which could explain why I transported to the 6th floor when I was trying to go to the 4th. Patients on floor 5 somehow end up lost when you look for them. They appear directly behind you and ask what you're looking for. The people that work there and get treated here are equally as weird. I once saw my coworker tuck a rogue tentacle into his sleeve, look around like no one saw. I know your secret, Mark. There are those 3 old ladies that come in together once every week for a dialysis. I've never treated them myself, but I have taken their vitals before. They are identical triplets. Their charts say they were born in 1906, and they are identical triplets as much as survived in 1906 is beyond me. Also, due to some insanely unlucky genetic anomaly, none of them have eyes. They do, however, have one prosthetic. They have to pass around from day to day. Every time they come in, a different one has the eye. I've seen them arguing over it before, I don't know why. Occasionally I'll see a person who looks exactly like me at the end of one of the corridors. However, I can never see them in my peripheral vision. If I turn to look, they disappear. Oh, I can only see them. Oh, fuck. We once had a patient come in to the ER with appendicitis. Oh, I don't know medical terms. I don't know what that is. We rushed into the OR for an emergency appendectomy. Don't know what that is either. Knocked him out, the usual. All of a sudden, about 20 minutes in, he starts screaming. The brain activity monitors still show that he was unconscious. The heart monitor showed us that he was at a resting heartbeat. He was out. There was no explanation why he was screaming, and it continued until we were finished. He woke up and we interrogated him about it, asking if he felt anything before. He said no. I had a little girl and her mother come in for a routine of vaccinations. She was sat on the table and her mother was in a chair in the corner. The door of the room was closed. I took her vitals and such, and I turned around to prepare the injections, and upon turning around, the mother and the girl were gone. They disappeared in the thin air. I whipped back around to look at the girl's chart, and it was gone too. I checked the system for her name, and it was not there. It was gone. She was dead. Or she wasn't dead. There was just no result. Possibly the weirdest case yet was the other day. We had a 10-year-old boy come in for a severely broken arm. When I say severe, I mean completely obliterated. He was probably going to have to get it amputated. It was flopping all over the place with bones pounded into sawdust. He got it caught up underneath a boulder when hiking and needed it to be flown in. Anyway, we're about finishing up imaging the arm and process of the gruesome x-rays when I turn around and see the kid using his phone playing a game with his broken arm that had somehow miraculously healed itself. We asked him a few questions and he said he felt fine. He showed him the x-ray of the images and it was going on. Showed him what was going on. He simply said, "That's not my arm," and went back to his game. Then he passed out. We took his vitals and his heart rate was dropping quickly. After multiple I'm not going to try to say that attempts, we declared him dead. I went to inform the parents and I stopped mid-sentence by somehow tugging on my sleeve. It was the kid who I was just pronounced dead. Stood behind me asking, "What are we talking about? I'm right here." Aside from the occasional weird case, the rest are pretty normal. Now here's the part that freaks me out the most. Yesterday I was paged to the ER. I went the normal way to get up, but I didn't end up there. The damn place moved again from all I know, but usually I end up there anyway. Anyway, the area was unfamiliar. You'd think after working there for many weeks I have seen everything, but alas, I looked around and found the corridor I was in was labeled Southwest Wing. This struck my interest, because I have reviewed all the maps and floor plans of the godforsaken place and I have never seen a Southwest Wing before. I was in an area of the hospital that didn't exist. I wandered on for a while, exploring the newly found area, when my gut suddenly dropped in the worst feeling ever. I got the chills and my spine tingled. I knew I shouldn't be here. All of the rooms in the southwest wing had heavy duty locks. I decided to poke around. Walking further on, I passed a room that had a door open. Peeked in, making sure I wouldn't be noticed. Then I saw the most disturbing image I've ever seen. It was a human, but what looked like to be one. But it was just a torso with arms. Think arms for legs and one for a head, on top of an existing set of arms. I gasped, and the thing noticed and scuttled toward my door. I bolted down the hallway and I heard a door slam. I looked over my shoulder and I was relieved to be alone. As I wandered around trying to retrace my steps and find the way I came in, the hallway kept rearranging so I could never find the same place twice. As the corridor stretched onward, the foul smell started emanating from all around. It smelled like a necrotic skin, but worse. I gagged. The then fished around my pocket for a surgical mask. I shoved it in there earlier, and I put it on a feeble attempt to block out all the smell. As I turned the corner, I saw double doors open and it looked like a huge operating room. I saw 3 of what I assumed to be humans in hazmat suits, wheeling a gurney into the room. One glanced in my direction, and I quickly ducked around the corner to avoid being seen. I didn't see what they had on the gurney, and I didn't want to, so I ran. I ran until I ended up near the ER where I was supposed to be half an hour ago. My coworker Mark saw me out of breath. "What happened to you?" he asked me with a laugh. I couldn't find any words. "I'm sorry I'm late." "What do you mean?" He looked puzzled. "I got lost." He looked at me with a confused expression and pointed at the clock on the wall. It was 1:30, and I have sworn I was in the southwest wing for at least 30 minutes. It should be 2. I don't know what the fuck is going on in Cedarville, General. Author's note. Due to request, I'm going to continue my document. Wish me luck. Okay. 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 They gave me chills. Like, what? What? Okay. So, I found this one pretty quickly. It didn't take me that long. Walmart after dark is not what you'd think. I'm writing this because I don't know where else I can put it. I can never tell someone or post it online under my real name, just don't know what to do. This happened a couple nights ago on Saturday. I'm a vlogger for a YouTube and fairly big one, not to brag. I was only doing one of those overnight challenges, like the thing where you just stay inside a weird overnight, and I had picked Walmart. Why? I honestly don't know. Now, I wish I hadn't maybe thought of the top 24-hour Walmart overnight challenge would attract lots of viewers, but I don't care about that anymore. Okay, so it's Saturday night, and 2 of my friends, Cass and Anthony, are helping me get me situated in my hiding spot in a pet supply section. It's about 9:50, so 10 minutes until closing time. I'm doing all this stupid stuff for a video, like giving a tour of my little hiding place and goofing around with my friends. Cass and Anthony leave right after closing time and buy a bottle of Japanese mayonnaise. So they don't seem suspicious, leaving me to hide until 10:30 or so, when the employees begin to leave for the night, or when they should, at least, according to the plan I drafted. This whole time, I'm filming little comedy clips while hiding. Things people will find funny, so they will share my video and stuff. Always thinking about ways to expand my channel, so yeah. Around 10:30, I get some text from Cass, who's keeping watch with Anthony outside until 11. Okay, so the employees are starting to leave. You're good to go, bud. Wait, no. They just got something out of a car and they're starting to drag it inside. It's like really big, and this is weird, dude. She started sending me pictures of a tall guy and a blonde girl, both in a trademark blue Walmart vest, dragging a long, heavy-looking package towards the store's back door by the loading docks. Of course, despite the blizzard. Wait, yeah, no, that's a bizarre. I should put my glasses on. Bizarre, ominous sight in front of me. My curiosity gets the best of me, and I silently follow the employees throughout the dim, silent store. I make sure the camera is recording. At this point, I'm just kind of weirded out and thinking that this video is going to get so many views because of these strange employees. To tell weird Walmart employees after dark gone spooky is bound to get millions of views. Maybe it even might end up on a vlogger stream, the YouTube trending page. Anyway, that's not important now, but what happened next, and I'll never forget it. The 3 of us finally found our way to the center of the store. 3 as in like the employees and him, I'm assuming. Where there are cardboard displays advertising cheap as seen on TV products. I hide under the cutout of a woman's phone holding a device that supposedly aerosolizes crystals to align your chakras or something, and watch as they begin to unwrap layers and layers of something plastically around the package. The blonde woman mumbles something in a low voice into a walkie-talkie, and moments later the lights are shut off completely, leaving the store completely and absolutely dark. I hear the footsteps of many people, some more shuffling of plastic, and then the lights are turned on, but still dim. But the scene is so different now. A large circle of employees stands around a fully wrapped package. Oh god, the package. I don't want to think about. But I know I have to tell someone. In the middle of the plastic tarp lies a body. I don't know what. I don't want to think about how it was, made to pass away. But it's mangled. Blood and viscera covered the tarp. I nearly throw up. Strangely, my first thought when I see it is great. There's no way I can post this on YouTube now. And the employees, I could tell you exactly what they are, but they're not really human anymore. Everything about them is just, I don't know, wrong. Their bodies are long and gaunt, pale and withering, though some of them, I think, are quite young. Their fingers twitch around and yellow fingernails. No, claws that end in sharp points. Their eyes, they glow, and all of them, every single one of them, is wearing a horrible blue Walmart vest. I realize that with the start that the corpse is too. I feel sick to my stomach, yet strangely drawn to them. I don't really know what they are, though. Just that I'm probably in a whole lot of danger right now. I want to run, scream, turn off my camera so it doesn't record what I know is about to happen, all at the same time, but I'm frozen in place, horrified yet alert. The tall man, who now towers over everyone else by a good 2 or 3 feet, snaps his gaunt fingers, commanding the group's attention. He nods and the circle quickly becomes smaller as the employees pounce upon the corpse. They tear the already mangled body to pieces, consuming it with disgust, sucking, and chewing noises that'll rival the very best ASMR YouTubers. Only when I see this horrible sight do I find in myself the common sense to book it out of there. I sprint as quietly as possible through the store back to the pet supplies area and crawl up in a ball on my camera, which I turn off. I'm in shock at what I just witnessed, and thoughts course through my head at a million miles per hour. Should I call the police? Am I supposed to make a completely new video by next week for my YouTubers or my subscribers? Obviously I can't post this one. What if I'm caught? Could Cass and Anthony help me escape? And of course, am I going to die here? I've only been in here for a few minutes when the lights are completely turned off and a male voice comes over to the intercom. Okay guys, get on it. Let's try and get home early. It's time for go backs, and everyone please make sure the whole store is clean. Spick and span for tomorrow's shoppers, or face the consequences, he adds menacingly, then follows it with, I'm just kidding, but seriously guys, please clean up everything. What could that code be for? Oh yeah, maybe a huge bloody mess you guys made in the middle of the store. Suddenly a group of employees is by my hiding location. They seem different from before, all normal size, laughing and joking among themselves. The blonde woman is there, reshelving misplaced cans of pet food, of course, because this is Walmart. Someone has nicely left several heavy bags of dog food in the aisle where I'm hiding. And of course, it's this blonde lady's duty to put it back. She picks up a bag easily and leans over to put it on the bottom shelf where I am. I hold my breath and desperately hoping she doesn't see me, but she does. Her pierced blue eyes wordlessly command me to get out. I uncurled myself and pushed myself out until I stand between her and a group in the aisle. Basically, I'm trapped. You shouldn't be here. I nodded vehemently. I'm sorry, I fell asleep when I was getting dog food for my dog. Really? With your video camera? She gets some kind of staticky message over her walkie-talkie and nods. Fine, we'll let you off this time. But now you owe us. This is technically trespassing, you know. A good-looking guy hands her vest seamlessly from nowhere. We're short on seasonal hires, and you'd be good for the job. She hands me the vest. You start tomorrow. He's dead. And that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good night now. Adios.